This is Darth Brimstone, and I am here with some news today. So, uh, we've covered a little bit on Charmin Obaid-Chinoy before, and I've gone into a bit of her education, I've gone into her lack of experience, things like that. And but I have noticed that a lot of people have been going after her activism and her filmmaking background and violence against women and things like that. And you know what? Okay, it does happen. There is a small portion of our community that is not the brightest bulbs in the batch. But these things do not help us. And I'm not going after the creators who just, you know, say things that like that in context of what they're talking about. I'm talking about the ones who just literally attack her for being whatever. Now, okay, her filmmaking background does not say she should be doing Star Wars. Her education background does not say she should be doing a Star Wars film. She has no formal filmmaking education. Her background is documentaries and journalism, which is great. And you know what? She's made a wonderful career at it. She's covered things that few reporters in the world dare cover because, well, they usually don't walk out of it if they do. And she's covered them well. So, good work, Charmin Obaid-Chinoy. But when it comes to directing sci-fi, fantasy, Star Wars, you do not have the background. You do not have the credentials. And the one time you did try and do a show where you had to work in that element, which was Miss Marvel, you couldn't do it. The reason you couldn't do it, you did not have the skill set. It's something you'd never done before. And they had to do substantial reshoots. Now, I understand you're new to it. That's fine. Maybe take a second director chair. Learn from someone else on how to do those things. And then you can take a director's chair. Preferably on television so you only ruin one episode and not a $300 million movie. You understand people, which honestly is something we are missing in Star Wars. Because the people that they create for these projects nowadays are not human beings. They are empty husks, empty shells that are vehicles for the story, that are literally vehicles for a plot. That's it. That's all Disney does. They do not create well-rounded people that we can relate to. Number one that they did is on my fucking screen now. Rey. She is not a human being. She is not a fleshed out character. Honestly, I don't really feel anything when I look at her character. It's just an empty husk for Disney to put whatever the hell they want in. Now, I know I have kind of a skewed perspective on this because I am an EU fan, okay? And what they did in those sequels was take this, the Skywalker family. That's Jaina Solo. Han and Leia's daughter. Those are the students from Luke's Academy, which is now Rey's Academy after they stripped Luke of being a human being and gave everything he ever was to Rey. including taking his wife, his child, Han and Leia's children, and erased them. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand with the sequel trilogy. And I did do a story on that. Um, I probably didn't word it the best I did. It was one of my early videos, and I probably could have done a lot better on that. But you know what? The conclusion was the same. Okay, they gave Luke's future, wiped out his family, and gave his academy to Rey, or as Luke called it, his Praxium. And when they wiped out all these people right here, they gave they gave well, that's Jaina, and it was supposed to be inherited by her pretty much. And gave it to her. So, what I'm pointing out here is yes, my perspective when it comes to the sequel trilogy is a little, well, let's just say biased, because I'm an EU fan. But it does not mean that I don't want to see a good movie. However, I'm sure like somebody would look at my ex account and just, say, hey, you know what? Well, he's an EU fan. He's blah, 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 blah. He's an istinophobe and well, okay, well, fine. Well, you know what? Fuck you very much. But Charbin obeyed Chinoy is now being defended by media shills and all kinds of stuff. And you know what? I kind of get it because some creators are being a little hard on her, truthfully. Hey, all she did was take a job, man. Like, tell me, if you had no experience directing a Star Wars movie, but you had a whole shit ton of directorial experience, like 20 years worth, and somebody offered you the chance to direct a freaking $300 million Star Wars movie, I just might take it. Especially considering what she's probably getting paid, which I think they said that it was. I forget what it was. I'll look it up though, and I'll put it in the notes when I figure it out. Um, so here we go. It's going to be directed by activist and documentarian Sharmino Bajnoy. Yes, it was announced at Celebration 2023. A lot of us never covered it back then. I didn't even have a channel back then, and I probably wouldn't have because it was a new Rey movie, which I didn't give a shit about, and most likely was probably never ever going to be filmed, at least as we thought back then. Um, Now I don't think they have an out for doing it. Truthfully, they've dug their heels in, and they're gonna do this fucking movie. Rain, snow, shine, sleet, hail, freaking natural disaster, God wiping the face of the planet clean. Kathleen Kennedy's gonna do this fucking movie. So little is known about Rey's new Jedi Order movie. Well, um, actually a little bit is known about it. Uh, Special thanks to our friends at WDW Pro. Shout out to you, gentlemen. Uh, we do know some of the plot that they had, or at least some of the ideas they had. One of the first ones was Ghost Kylo Ren knocks up Rey, and they pop out a Reylo baby. Oh yeah, apparently Force ghosts can now impregnate. I believe that idea was shot down, but Jesus, what the fuck? Fucking Raylo, baby? 9 years later? Yeah, it was bloody stupid. But then that was just one of, I forget what the other one was, but it was equally as fucking dumb. I think it was once again 9 years later. She's a Jedi Master. Some student. I don't remember what the hell it was, but it was just as fucking dumb. Uh, I think it was like she takes in a new student and student turns to the dark side or something stupid like that. But either way, so unlike previous Star Wars directors Ryan Johnson and J.J. Abrams, who were, by the way, fucking horrible. Um, She's best known for her history as a documentarian and journalist. Her film history is largely one that involves documentary. You know what? I'm going to skip over a lot of this the way they word it. Basically, her documentaries were all against violence. We're all covering violence against women. She covered the acid attacks in Pakistan. She covered acid attacks. She covered abuse in Pakistan. She covered 100 other violence against women and things that need to be covered. We need documentarian filmmakers like her because she's willing to cover the things that a lot of films will not cover. We do not need her in Star Wars. She does not have the requisite skill set. Um, this background could be exciting for our franchise, for what an exciting one for the franchise. How? Oh, apparently she likes the lived-in aesthetic that George Lucas himself. Okay, which is the same with pretty much any space opera. Truth and heroism, another theme she loves. Okay. As someone who's dedicated her career covering the individual, it can bring a humanistic approach. Yeah, that was the documentary on acid attacks in Pakistan, which was called Saving Face. For those of you who want to watch it, it's a rough watch. I'll tell you. I did a little research into this and managed to find a copy of it. Oh, yeah, it's a rough watch, but she did a really good job. Um, and I believe that was the one where she was coming out saying that she likes to make men uncomfortable. Well, you know what? The men who did that should be uncomfortable, and I understand why she said that. Now her Golden Globe, now her Emmy and International Emmy nominations were once again all on her activism and her documentaries. Abe Chenoy also had her recent work in Hollywood was on. For those of you that want to see them, they ended up with substantial reshoots, and I don't know how much of it was actually her work at this point. Saving. Hold on, where are we here? Was on Miss Marvel, and I can't remember which episodes they were. I'm trying to see if I can find it here because I could have sworn they had it listed, but oh, there we go. Episode 4 and episode 5 of Miss Marvel. I don't know how much of that was her work and how much of it was another director reshooting, or if it was her reshooting. Now, this is where I'm coming in. Obaid Chinoy has become a subject of debate within the Star Wars fandoms due to claims that her goal for the new Jedi Order is to make men uncomfortable. Like I already said that. And I wish people would stop repeating it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, just for the plain fact that it does not help us. As a community, it does not help us. Because everyone has to be, because then the press goes, oh well, they're talking about something that she said about a documentary where people were throwing acid in people's faces. Well, that just makes us look like fucking idiots, okay? She may mean it. She may even imply it. She may even act on it when she does this movie. Then we can talk about it. But until then, we look like assholes. It was not said of. Oh, and apparently it was a joke, according to this article. Okay, and it's an 8-year-old quote. Yeah, said something very different, which she did, and I played it for you in my last video, which was, and you know what? I will quote her to be fair. You know, I'm very thrilled about the project because I think we're about to create something very special. That's what she said about Star Wars. In relation to gender, she said it's so important to have male champions in your life. Because okay, yeah, there were a bunch of controversial comments in that. This was not one of them. So, to be fair, this article was trying to be a little balanced, but still kind of really skewed heavily in her favor. But Star Wars frequently changes hands. Yeah, ever since it went to Disney Lucasfilm. It offers new perspectives and stories because Lucasfilm consistently welcomes new directors, producers, writers. Yeah, ever since Disney took over. I hate to break it to you, the reason why there was a cohesive narrative, cohesive story, cohesive, even for the most part in the EU, George gave his authors a list of things that you do not fucking touch. That's why the EU kept a certain level of continuity. Okay, I know some people are going to say, well, even the EU clashes with the EU. Well, yeah, at times it does. What the fuck do you expect? You had like 50 authors. And some of them didn't follow George's rules to the letter. And I guarantee you, there's a lot of books he rejected. So, but for the most part, it kept a timeline and continuity in place. When Disney took over, they retconned fucking everything. Wiped it out. It no longer exists. Why? So they could cherry pick from it. They cherry picked from it, did what the fuck they pleased, and then told us we were assholes because we didn't like what they made. Which, by the way, erased all of these people. Every one of these people was erased from Disney fucking history. And these people meant the most to us. And honestly, I love her. That's Jaina Sola. So, what I'm saying here, I'll just leave that running because I love those pictures. Lay off anything that can be construed as woman hating, because it is going to backfire on us. We are a community that relies on each other to stop Disney from fucking up our leisure time, from destroying everything that we held dear in Star Wars. For many of us, this was a shelter in rough times. It was a warm blanket and something that made us feel good. in sick times, good times and bad. It was things we shared with our friends and our family and our loved ones. It was a thing that we passed down generation to generation. And they have fucked it and burned all the things we love to ash and replaced it with something else. Okay, I've accepted that at this point. I know I can't fix it. I know I can. I know I'm never getting it back, and it's partly why I'm kind of apathetic towards Disney Star Wars. However, when I see them doing things like what they're doing with the Rey movie, giving her Luke's legacy, well, let's just say it wakes up the EU fan in me and really makes me want to fucking scream. But there's nothing I can do about it except get on here and talk to you folks. Or get on X and, well, end up getting berated by the fucking Raylos for 3 hours. So, oh, and being called an istinophobe the whole 3 hours. Because, according to them, saying, I don't want Luke's whole family legacy being given to Rey is me being a sexist fucking pig. So, anyway, you know what? I'm gonna call this a video, and you know what, folks? Take care of yourselves and each other, and try and take it easy on Obeyed Chinoy, because you know what? It's not like it's not like she deserves all of what everyone's giving her, but you know what? It just looks bad on us as a community. So, take care, man. Take care, folks. And if you like the video, like the video. If you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.